You know that feeling before you start something big? You really want to do it. You genuinely do. But the whole thing feels overwhelming. There are pieces you've never done before, parts that you don't fully understand yet. And every time you think, okay, I'll start this week, something else shows up on your calendar as a priority. And then suddenly, weeks have gone by. Those weeks turn into months and sometimes turn into years. That pattern is normal, completely normal. Not helpful, mind you, but very normal. Over the years, I had noticed this pattern in myself, and I saw it in some people that I worked with as well. So years ago, I put a deceivingly simple strategy in place. It's not complicated, but most importantly, it works. It's one of the main reasons my book, The Way Success Works, finally got finished, published, and went on to be award-winning. The strategy played a big role in getting this podcast launched. And I've had clients use it when they're stuck telling the I'm going to start this thing story, finally take action and get it done. So today I walk you through a simple 2-part process that helps you get started and stay on track when you keep putting off a big goal, especially when that goal is starting or growing your side hustle. I'm Joan, and this is Side Hustle Hero. At some point, most people hit this moment when they realize that they've been talking about starting something for a long time. You've done the research, you've watched the videos, you've read the blog posts, and all of that is fine. You need to do a certain amount of research, for sure. But there comes a point where you have to make a decision. Either quit telling the story that you're about to start or actually start. And the reason this is so hard is twofold. First off, your days are already full. You have your main work, your routines, your responsibilities, habit patterns, and this new thing requires space on your calendar. And secondly, it also requires you to do things that are way out of your comfort zone. Things that you've never done before, maybe public speaking as a way for people to learn about your new venture. Or it requires you to reach out to potential clients, which can feel really uncomfortable, intimidating even. That's what it was like for me before launching this podcast. There seemed to be no end to what was the required research and brainstorming with others. I kept putting it off, telling myself that I'd launch once things slowed down a bit. They didn't. I realized that starting a podcast was becoming a story I was telling myself. So I had a decision to make. Ditch the story or suck it up and set a launch date. There's a huge difference between wishing something would happen and deciding you're going to make it happen. This 2-part process I'm about to share has been part of every major win I've had in my working life. At its core, this strategy is about keeping your word to yourself and to someone who you do not want to disappoint. When you say you're going to do something and you follow through, that builds self-trust. And over time, other people see it too. They see that you're someone who does what you say you'll do. The key here is that you stay in control of what you're committing to. No one is pushing you. No one is managing you. You could say it's a method of you pushing you. Here's how it works. You choose one person in your life, someone who you deeply respect, someone you really do not want to disappoint. If you told them that you're going to do something, you'd move mountains to make sure it got done. For me, when writing my book, that person was Dave. I would email him every other Monday. And I could tell you there was more than one Sunday night that I was burning the midnight oil to get done what I said I would get done because I wanted to be able to give Dave a positive report. But at any rate, you email them every other week with the subject line, successes and commitments. In that email, you briefly tell them what you've done over the past 2 weeks and what you're committing to do over the next 2 weeks. Keep it short, keep it tight, use bullet points. You keep checking in every 2 weeks until you reach a milestone that you decided on in advance. When I was writing my book, that milestone was the publication date. That project felt huge. There were so many elements and parts and pieces to the project I'd never done before. Writing was one thing, but then editing and design, formatting, publishing, that was a whole other world. Not to mention recording the audio version. There was a point where enough people were involved that there was no turning back. But before that, there was at least one moment. It was during a February winter weekend. I had all these interviews that I had done for it, but I was really struggling at how all the different content pieces of the book were going to come together. Honestly, I felt like giving up. but knowing deep down inside that there is always a solution to a problem, and having a strong bond with my accountability partner, I knew I needed to keep my word to not only him, but to myself. That's why choosing the right person matters. This accountability person doesn't need to do much at all. Their role isn't to coach you or brainstorm with you or solve problems for you. Their role is simply to receive your commitment. And because you respect them, you don't want to send that next email saying that you didn't do what you said you would do. When I've been on the receiving end of these emails, I typically cheer people on and offer encouragement if needed. And I encourage you to keep this exchange in one email thread, because when you look back over time, it's powerful to see how much ground you've actually covered, especially when progress felt slow in the moment. And if you and your accountability person prefer text, set up your 2-person group chat that is focused solely on this project and name it accordingly. No posting photos of your dinner or funny cat memes here. This is your business you're building. Presumably you know them well enough to be able to say, I'm reaching out to you because I really want to make this project happen. I really want to create this side hustle and see just how far I can take it. And I want to make sure that I stay on track. Or you could say, I've been procrastinating at starting it for a number of reasons. And because I really value our relationship and respect you, I know that if I commit to you, that'll push me to follow through. Your role is actually minimal. I'll be doing all the work. I just want to email you every other Monday night with what I've done and what I'm committing to next. And if they say yes, fantastic. If not, ask the next person. So part 1 is to secure your accountability partner. Then the second part is literally to get on with the work. If you followed my guide, Smart Start, from idea to It's Live in 7 steps, you've already determined how much time you're able to realistically allocate to your side hustle. So based on that allotted time, you'll craft your first email that spells out in clear bullet points what you're going to accomplish in the next 2 weeks. Is it a type of research? Is it creating your logo? Is it defining your psychographics of your ideal client? Whatever it might be. Then 2 weeks later, you check back in. That's where the successes and commitments part comes in. You're reporting on your follow-through. Did you do what you said you're going to do? And then you lay out what you're committing to for the next 2 weeks. And that rhythm just continues until you reach the milestone or date that you've set at the beginning. I've always chosen Monday nights because the end of the week can be kind of crazy, but choose whatever day works for you. One thing I want to be very clear about, your accountability partner is not responsible for chasing you. I once agreed to be this person for someone who had a solid idea and a lot of enthusiasm. I got a few updates and then silence. After about a month, I reached out because I was genuinely concerned. They told me they'd been traveling and would get back to it soon. I never heard from them again. And that's okay, because it wasn't my job to follow up. So you don't want to have that expectation with your accountability partner. If you have questions about this process, or if there's an aspect of it I didn't cover, please drop your question in the comments or send me a DM. When you've used a strategy for a long time, it becomes second nature, so let me know if I've skipped a step. If you're starting a side hustle for the first time or growing it beyond what you've done before, you're moving into unfamiliar territory, and that takes courage. A lot of people talk about something like this, but so many don't follow through. The fact that you're here tells me that you want more out of life. And when you actively pursue that and get results, you don't just change things for yourself. You become an example of what's possible. So I applaud your courage, your commitment, and really encourage you to try this out. And let me know how it works for you. Well, that's a wrap for today. If our chats are sparking your entrepreneurial spirit and providing valuable insights, consider showing your support by visiting sidehustlehero.com/support. That's where you can shoot me a virtual coffee. It's a real thing and a fun way to give the show a caffeinated thumbs up. Thank you so much. In the episode description, you'll find a link to the full show notes, which live at our website, sidehustlehero.com. If you haven't yet grabbed a copy of my 28-page guide called Smart Start, From Idea to It's Live in 7 Steps, a beginner's guide to launching your side hustle with confidence, you'll find it at sidehustlehero.com. It's free for now, but not forever. If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, it would be so appreciated if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and please subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here to help them start or grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.